welcome to the western portion of Virginia that will at some point become the state of West Virginia in June 3rd, 1861. The western portion of Virginia the representatives did not vote to secede with the rest of Virginia when they decided to leave the Union. These guys had a lot more in common with the people of neighboring Ohio and Pennsylvania. So they basically decided, like, hey, we're not going to go with this party and leave the Union. So Lincoln wanted to take advantage of this as a kind of a political victory. So he reached out to George McClellan, who was busy organizing the Civil War forces of Ohio, and said, hey man, why don't you get in there and help secure the Baltimore, Ohio Railroad and head towards Grafton and its vital train, basically, what's it called? I would say station, but it's a bunch of, I don't know what the heck the word is. But Grafton, Virginia was where a lot of it was a big area for the train. So he moved down there with 2 brigades, small force made up of Ohio, Indiana, and newly created regiments out of West Virginia. And the small force under the command of General Porterfield of the Confederates didn't get a lot of support from the government in Richmond. So he only had a small, untrained force, and he immediately retreated back to Philippi along the banks of the Tigert Valley River. And this is supposed to be a covered bridge here in the center, but it's not because I don't have one. And decided to defend this town because it was much more defensible than Grafton. He was just basically buying time, hoping he would get some reinforcements, which never materialized. So this was the first real land battle outside of a skirmish of the Civil War, as the Union moved in to secure the railroad and to support the hopefully new state of West Virginia. But that wouldn't be happening for a while. So that's what we got. We're going to be using the rules for hot lead and cold steel for this one. This is going to be our learning game. And I'm just going to kind of figure it out. Go slow, try to do some education, especially for myself, and try to at least get a handle of this rule system with a small battle. The Union has, I think, 7 infantry regiments and 2 artillery brigades and 1 cavalry regiment. And the Confederacy basically has 1 brigade of 4 regiments and 1 cavalry brigade and 1 artillery battery. The attack, which Porterfield wasn't really expecting, just because nobody knew what the heck they were doing in this time at the beginning of the Civil War, the Union was able to pull off a dual echelon attack. They crossed farther upstream with half his forces. We got General Morris. General McClellan didn't even join this attack. You got General Morris leading one side of the Union attack, and then I believe it is General Duval led the other. They came down on either side of the river to basically sandwich Philippi, and that was the plan, and this is what's happening. We'll say I'm going to try to follow the regimental fire and fury kind of timeline. I'll each turn maybe be 15 minutes. I think that'll be kind of cool. And I'm going to try to do like a cinematic end of the turn, and then kind of glamange those together to have not only a turn-by-turn battle report with heavy detail, and then you'll also have the option to watch the kind of more of a story-driven one that won't have a lot of the dice rolling. So I've never done that before. Sounds like fun, and yeah, see what happens. I know some people like that, some people like the other one, some people like both. So we'll try it. I'll try to make everything entertaining. But the big point of this is to learn how to play hot lead and cold steel. I did make changes this morning to my artillery and based it all up on one, and this is the precursor. I will start putting these are, each one of these units, infantry is singularly based. They will be going on 4 guys to one base. I'm going to glue them down at some point, and that'll make movement a lot easier. And I know it's going to cut down on the funny comments that I love of like, why the hell are you doing that? But I think it's a good thing. It's probably about time. I started off, this was a skirmish game, or these were skirmish forces, and now they're kind of graduating a little bit. So this isn't huge for me. This is kind of a small battle. I just wanted to start off like that, and this is close to what was actually involved in the real fight, but not quite correctly. This was the Union basically lined up their artillery, fired some batteries, a couple of Union troops crossed the bridge, fired a couple rounds at the Confederates, and the Confederates ran away. This battle was actually named in the press the Philippi races, because after the Union did that quick little shooting, the Confederates ran away so fast. That was it. So I think only like 6 or 7 guys got hurt in this battle. Okay, well that's it, and let's get on to turn 1. We'll do some ADC rolls, and we'll go from there. All right, you guys are awesome. We'll see you in a second. Let's go get this fight. All right, the Battle of Philippi kicks off after a blast from Brigadier Morris's artillery brigade on the far side of the river against positions of Confederates inside the town of Philippi. First blasts crash into and explode into some of the Virginian infantry units against the stone walls over here, rendering several gentlemen killed at to start the battle off. The next barrage of the the Unions is counter battery from the other side of the battlefield. It does not work out so well. These blasts, I'm trying to get them in the camera here, fire up the hill versus versus Confederate artillery up on top of the hill outside of Philippi, missing, trying to destroy the battery to clear the way for the infantry attack. Unsuccessfully doing that, the Confederates opened fire doing counter battery against their Union counterparts, also missing. After the artillery barrage, General Duval orders his 4 infantry regiments to advance upon the Confederate positions on top of the hill outside of Philippi. They advance without issues until they get into musket range, and then the 14th Ohio suffers significant casualties from a blast from the 25th Virginia firing down the hill at the approaching Union forces, all staggering but not breaking the Union line as they will continue to advance. General Porterfield inside Philippi mobilizes his cavalry, the 14th Light Cavalry from Virginia, advancing them off the road into take up positions on the stone wall against the river to take up positions to hopefully begin firing against the closing Union under General Morris. Morris, after his fantastic volley from his battery, advanced with his 3 infantry regiments on the outskirts of Philippi, trying to get over the bridge before the Confederates could hopefully do some significant damage, but his luck was not with him as the 2nd West Virginia was mowed down and pushed back as they have a morale problem and retreat back through the 1st West Virginia after suffering massive casualties from the first blast of the 9th Virginia from behind the walls across the river. The other two infantry regiments under under Morris continue to close in. One from the other 1st West Virginia, and sorry about that, the 9th Indiana, or 6th Indiana. Morris did make an attempt to bring up his cavalry, but they did not get the orders. They continued to hold outside of range. And that ends the 07 as we move on into 7:15 as the attack continues. All right, at the 7:15 moment, Union continues to seize the initiative with Duval's and Morris's batteries opening fire, or continuing their fire against the Confederate line. Duval's guns continue to struggle, finding the range, missing. Porterfield's battery X ship on the hill fired back in counter battery and caused some casualties to Duval over there. Morris's battery fires again against the troops dug in behind the stone fence of the 11th Virginia, causing more casualties, who once again suffered even more casualties as the Zouave-clad 6th Indiana got behind the snake rail fence, leveled their muskets, opening fire and putting even more casualties on them. They did suffer some casualties themselves as the boys from Virginia returned fire. 1st Virginia, West Virginia firing on their brothers again from the 9th Virginia. The Confederates getting the best of that barrage. They continue to hold the bridge against all comers. General Porterfield raced through town, joined up with the 31st Virginia, ordering them forward, trying to get inflating fire on the Union advance here, but was met with a powerful volley from the Hardy Hat-clad 9th Indiana, buckling them. They still returned some fire to some casualty to the boys from Indiana. And then on the other side of Duval's line, the 16th Ohio continued their advance after passing lines through the 14th Ohio, trying to get to this crest, but they once again suffered heavy casualties from this, what's appearing to be a crack unit from the 25th Virginia firing down and getting the best of another Union regiment. So they're taking all comers. And there is Porterfield's battery as they were able to fire solid shot down into Duval's artillery and causing some casualties down there. At the bottom of the hour, Morris's artillery continues to assault the rebels at Philippi, able to drop some rounds into the midst of that Virginia infantry unit, breaking their will, forcing them back after they become unnerved due to the intense firepower. Union Zouaves from Indiana and these boys from West Virginia continue to fire into the defenders of the Philippi against the wall, putting some casualties on the skirmishers as well as significant casualties on that Virginia unit over there. But they were able to return fire and do some damage to the 1st West Virginia. 2nd West Virginia was able to rally and get their act together again, and Porterfield was able to reinforce his light cavalry dismounted along the wall to help defend the bridge while he was struggling with his other infantry unit that he was going to have to go over and try to rally. On the other side of the Tygart Valley River, Duval's artillery was finally able to find the range against the Confederate guns, who weren't able to land any hits with their latest barrage against the Union. Both units have taken some casualties. Duval, in the midst of taking fire from everywhere, is able to get both of his well, both halves, or all four of his regiments to advance through withering fire, and then lay down their own devastating barrage over here on the right, driving back the boys from Virginia after they suffer multiple casualties, basically cutting the unit in half, almost 50% casualties for them. On this side of the attack, the units from Ohio are giving about as much as they get right here. They're having a good battle against the Virginians, who are staying alone, but numbers will start telling here at some point, as he has reinforcements while they stand alone. The artillery for the Confederacy probably starting to load canister. They're going to be thinking about smacking these boys and trying to put a number on them, especially with the fact that Duval's artillery has not been able to suppress these gentlemen very well. But all right, that's what's happened in these last 15 minutes. We'll see you in the next. At 7:45, General Morris gets pushed back from his assault, trying to get over the bridge. Still has his light cavalry. He's able to move them up and dismount them at the foot of the bridge, but his the 6th Indiana are pushed back after they exchange gunfire with the dismounted cavalry behind the wall. Morris's artillery battery was able to do some damage and push back that Virginia regiment even farther. 2nd West Virginia moving up. It's gonna and now it's a good thing, because the 1st West Virginia is repulsed after losing a exchange of musketry with the 9th Virginia, who's kind of doing fantastic on this Stonewall, trying to become the Stonewall Brigade. I don't know, maybe too soon. Gotta wait for Manassas. The 9th Indiana, continuing their winning ways, absolutely destroy the Virginia unit that was guarding the road into Philippi, leaving the pathway wide open for them to continue their attack. Duval's battery was able to do some casualties to Porterfield's artillery on the hill, but they were finally wiped out by a volley from the 14th Ohio, as the 14th and 16th Ohio continue to advance up the hill. The 16th taking punishing fire from the 25th Virginia. Just huge amount of casualties, just leaving a trail of bodies behind as they advance. But as we get to 7:45, heading back into the 8 o'clock hour, this side of Philippi is now wide open, as the last Virginia infantry regiment trying to hold out at the top of the hill, but not looking good, as four Union infantry regiments are still in existence. I don't know if word's going to get over here to Porterfield that he's lost his entire rear. His guys are still shooting though. They're holding out. All right, let's go into the next 15 minutes of fun. At the 8 o'clock hour, Union dismounted cavalry run up onto the bridge along with the 2nd West Virginia after rallying, hoping to mop up the Confederate forces defending the wall, on the other side of the bridge, but not too much to do, because Morris's artillery pounded the heck out of the Virginians who were covering the bridge. The infantry regiment, that was the 9th regiment, and also all the way down here, Duval's battery was able to pivot and fire long-range shots, catching that same Virginia regiment in the crossfire, hitting them in the flank. So that was, and then after they fell back, the Union forces moved up onto the bridge. The preparatory bombardment for that assault worked out perfectly. The Union forces moved into Philippi on this side. The last holdout, we had a hand-to-hand on top of this hill, where the 14th Ohio went up against the 25th Virginia, and just absolutely the Union wins the hand-to-hand with the support of the 16th Ohio, driving the rebels from the field. The rest of the Confederate forces surrendered with their wounded at St. Anthony's Church, and will be paroled later. And that'll be it. So hopefully that was a fantastic battle. It's totally different doing this narrative thing. It didn't take much effort from me. I'm definitely going to continue to work on it. Unless I get like one view, then I might just bow to peer pressure and not do it anymore. But if you enjoy a narrative campaign, there it is. I do like a detailed battle report with dice rolling and everything else, especially on a teaching game. So there you go. Get the best of both worlds. All right, you guys are awesome. Hope you have a great weekend. Thanks for watching. Stand by for the Fire and Fury version of the Battle of Philippi with a few more troops on it, and just to make it a little bit more interesting. And I hope you enjoyed it. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.